these poor animals. These poor animals are feeding on garbage instead of green grass. Poor them. These grazing animals are feeding on garbage because the soil, as we can see here, is completely littered with waste and garbage, and there is no room left for green grass to grow on soil. Now this waste and garbage cannot be the food of these animals. So when these animals consume the waste, the pollutants present in the garbage enter their body and it hampers the digestive system of these animals. So an important and very basic effect of soil pollution is that it hampers the digestive system of many grazing animals. Now apart from this, there are many other effects of soil pollution. Let us know about them. Well, we know that soil is the basic entity of life on earth. The green plants, who are the primary producers of food, germinate on soil. So the green plants that is present at the base of every food chain is dependent completely on soil for their growth. Soil is also home to millions of microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, etc. Even the earthworms live and grow on soil. So we can see that almost every organisms are dependent on soil. Since soil supports all kinds of life on earth, so if the soil gets polluted, then it will affect every organisms living on earth. Particularly, it can be said that the green plants that grow on soil intake the pollutants present in the soil. Now these green plants, as we know, is consumed by many organisms like animals, human beings, etc. So the pollutants eventually enter the food chain via different organisms who feed on these green plants, and the entire food chain gets hampered. So here we can understand that a serious consequence of soil pollution is that the food chain of living organisms gets hampered and disturbed. I just mentioned that soil pollution hampers the food chain and affects every organisms living on earth. The human beings gets seriously affected due to soil pollution. When the human beings intake the soil pollutants, they can suffer from various diseases like respiratory disorders, skin diseases, irritation in eyes, nose, etc. So the harmful effects of soil pollution on human beings is that it can lead to multiple diseases. Apart from affecting human beings and animals, soil pollution has direct effect on the environment. The toxic substances, when released on soil, alters or changes the chemical composition of soil. Especially the chemical compounds alters the pH level of the soil and make it either more basic or more acidic in nature. Thus, due to undesirable change in the chemical composition of soil, eventually the fertility of the soil gets reduced. So the soil becomes infertile due to soil pollution, and eventually this also affects the local vegetation as the yield or the fertility of soil gets reduced due to soil pollution. So we understood that soil pollution has serious effects on human beings, animals and on plants. This is because every organisms on earth are directly and indirectly dependent on soil. So we must look for ways in which we can control soil pollution. Look at these pictures. These are the pictures of an amusement park in Delhi. Now in this amusement park, the 7 wonders of the world have been recreated from discarded and waste materials like old automobiles, iron objects, etc. So as we can see in these pictures, the Statue of Liberty, Taj Mahal and other 7 wonders of the world have been recreated out of waste materials. Now, this is a commendable initiative adopted by the state government of Delhi to stop soil pollution and to manage waste. Now, this amusement park has been truly named as Waste to Wonder, because in this park, as I mentioned, the 7 wonders of the world have been recreated out of waste materials. So this initiative gives us an idea that we can actually create good things out of waste materials instead of discarding them on open ground and causing pollution. So let us now discuss in details about different ways in which we can control soil pollution. We know chemical fertilizers are important sources of soil pollution because these chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides contain certain substances that are undesirable for the soil, and they alter the chemical composition of soil, thereby causing soil pollution. So we can reduce and in fact stop the use of chemical fertilizers. Instead, we can switch to organic farming. Now, organic farming is an agricultural practice that promotes the use of natural manure. Now, this natural manure is more effective than chemical fertilizers. That is, it increases the fertility of soil rapidly and it is also environment friendly. So to control soil pollution that is caused mainly due to agricultural practices, we can stop using chemical fertilizers. Instead, we should switch to organic farming. Now, before I further proceed with my lesson, let me ask you a question. Which of the following helps to abate or control soil pollution? Is it use of natural manure, throwing garbage in open ground, increased use of chemical fertilizers, or using pesticides and insecticides? What do you think? The correct answer is use of natural manure helps to abate soil pollution, while rest of the options lead to soil pollution. So the correct option is use of natural manure. Let us now discuss about other ways in which we can control soil pollution. Well, an important source of soil pollution is biodegradable waste. Well, these biodegradable waste, as we know, are the ones that are decomposed by organisms and are eventually mixed with soil. These biodegradable waste comprises of cow dung or the waste produced from organisms, agricultural waste, and even leftover food. Well, I'll explain you how we can produce biogas from biodegradable waste. Well, all we need to do is collect various biodegradable waste like cow dung, agricultural waste and leftover food and mix them together with some water. Well, the mixture of different biodegradable waste along with water is known as slurry. So, slurry refers to the mixture of different biodegradable waste plus water. Now, this slurry is stored in a tank which is often known as an anaerobic digester. Now, the term anaerobic means absence of oxygen. In other words, the slurry is stored in a tank and the opening of the tank is closed. Now, this slurry is left undisturbed in the tank for about 2 months. Now, within these 2 months, fermentation or decomposition of organic matter present in slurry takes place. Now, this decomposition or fermentation is known as anaerobic decomposition. This is because the decomposition takes place in absence of oxygen. The opening of the tank is closed, so the supply of oxygen is cut off and the organic matter present in slurry is allowed to decompose in absence of oxygen. So this kind of decomposition or fermentation is known as anaerobic decomposition. Now, after anaerobic decomposition of organic matter present in slurry, two important gases are produced, and they are methane and carbon dioxide. Now, methane is an important component of biogas. So, this biogas generator utilizes methane to produce biogas. So, as I just mentioned, the biogas generator produces biogas. Now, this biogas is often stored in a large place which is known as biogas storage tanks. So, this is the entire procedure in which we can produce biogas from biodegradable waste. Initially, the biodegradable waste are collected together and mixed with water to produce slurry. The slurry is kept in an anaerobic digester, which leads to anaerobic decomposition of slurry and produces two important gas, methane and carbon dioxide. Now, methane is processed in biogas generator to produce biogas, which is eventually stored. Now, this biogas not only helps to reduce or curb soil pollution, but it is used for other purposes. So, let us know about various uses of biogas. Biogas can be used as an alternative sources of energy. This biogas is environment friendly and it can be used in production of electricity, and it can be also used as a fuel. Also, the mass left after the production of biogas can be used as a fertilizer. Now, let me tell you that this fertilizer is organic in nature as it is generated from biodegradable waste. So, using this fertilizer will not harm the soil. So, from here we can understand that instead of throwing biodegradable waste on open ground, we can actually produce biogas from it. Now, this biogas can be used for further purposes like production of electricity, can be used as a fuel, it can also be used as a fertilizer. Thus, by not dumping biodegradable waste on open land and by producing biogas from it, we would be able to control soil pollution to a great extent. Another way in which we can control soil pollution is by promoting afforestation or planting of more trees. What I mean is that we must plant as much as trees possible on soil so that the soil can be conserved for future use. That is to say that the roots of the plant hold the soil firmly and it helps to conserve the soil for future generation. So, afforestation must be promoted so that we can conserve soil and stop soil pollution. That is to say that instead of dumping garbage on soil, we must plant trees which will help to conserve soil for future generation. Also, we must keep in mind the three important R's, that is recycle, reuse and reduce. The main motto of three important R's is to reduce generation of waste, that is to produce as much as least waste as possible. The idea of recycle explains that we must conserve vital resources like water. It also explains that instead of using non-renewable resources like coal, petroleum, etc., which leads to excessive use of fossil fuels, we can actually switch to green energy like wind energy, solar energy, etc. Next comes the idea of reuse. The idea of reuse propagates that instead of throwing away newspapers, old clothes, etc., we can make bags, we can make things out of it that can be reused. For instance, out of old newspapers, you can make shopping bags. Again, you can also make shopping bags using old clothes. So this is how you can reuse things that will help to reduce the amount of waste production. Now last comes the idea of reduce. Now the substances that are not environment friendly and cause pollution are plastics, thermocols, various metals, etc. So we must reduce the use of these substances. Instead, we can switch to substances that are environment friendly like jute bags, clothes, paper, etc. So by keeping the idea of 3 important R's in our mind, we would be able to control not just soil pollution, but other kinds of pollution as well. So this is all about today's video. So in today's video, we initially discussed about various effects of soil pollution. We discussed that soil pollution directly affects grazing animals and it also hampers the food chain, thereby affecting every organism present on earth. Since soil pollution is so harmful, we next discussed about various measures in which we can control soil pollution. We discussed that soil pollution can be controlled by minimizing the use of chemical fertilizers. Instead, we should switch to organic manure. Then I mentioned that instead of discarding biodegradable waste on soil, we can actually produce biogas from it. Finally, we discussed that afforestation and 3 important R's are different ways in which we can control soil pollution. In our next video, we will discuss about another type of pollution, that is noise pollution. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to our 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million-plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, but it's rewarding too. So register for free now.